You walk into a room and you already know who's uncomfortable, who's performing, who just said something they'll regret. You feel the tension in someone's jaw before they feel it themselves. You notice everything, and you say almost nothing. People call it power, composure, mystery. But here's the dark truth this video is actually about. Silent power, for most of you, wasn't philosophy you chose. It was a wound that calcified into a strategy. Here's the core paradox. The very thing that earned you safety, respect, and influence in every room you've ever walked into is the same thing quietly destroying your capacity for intimacy, spontaneity, and genuine human belonging. You became powerful, and you became deeply, structurally alone inside that power. And the most excruciating part? You can't find the seam anymore between the wisdom and the wound. They fuse together so completely. You don't know which parts of your stillness are strength and which parts are survival. Let me tell you exactly what happened to your nervous system. Psychology calls it hypervigilance, a state of constant environmental scanning that develops when your early world was unpredictable, when a parent's mood was a weather system you had to forecast before breakfast, when love felt conditional and the conditions kept changing. The child in that environment does something brilliant. They minimize their own signal to better monitor everyone else's. They go quiet, not from weakness, but from extraordinary adaptive intelligence. They build what neuroscience now confirms, a suppression highway in the prefrontal cortex. Fast, efficient, automatic. Feel it, file it, show nothing. This is also called avoidant attachment, the relational pattern born when your needs consistently created distance. So you stopped broadcasting your needs. You became self-sufficient, contained, impressive even, and as an adult, you found a philosophy that finally validated that containment. Silent power didn't just appeal to you. It felt like coming home. But as Bessel van der Kolk established, the body keeps the score. The suppression doesn't disappear. It accumulates as a low-grade tension, a body that is always half-braced, a nervous system that never received the signal that the war is over. You didn't just learn to be quiet. You learned to become quiet, all the way down. Carl Jung wrote that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And here is what that costs the silently powerful. Every time you swallowed an emotion in a meeting because you taught yourself that emotion is exposure, that cost something. Every time you performed composure through a conversation that was breaking you open, that cost something. Every time someone said, "I never know what you're thinking," and you smiled, and underneath that smile felt a loneliness so structural it felt like architecture, that cost something. The dark truth is this. Many people drawn to frameworks of silent power aren't seeking strength. They're seeking permission. Permission to keep not feeling. Permission to call their dissociation discipline. Their emotional distance wisdom. Their profound, aching loneliness, independence. But the grief lives somewhere. And even at your most powerful, most admired, most magnetic, you are still the loneliest person in every room you masterfully command. So, what do you do with this? You start with one act, witnessing, not fixing, not immediately changing, just seeing the pattern with honesty and without shame, saying, "This made sense once. This kept me safe once. And it is costing me something now." Developmental psychologists call the next step inner child reparenting, turning toward the younger version of you who learned to suppress and offering them what they never received, acknowledgement, a quiet internal moment of saying, "I see why you went quiet. You don't have to do that here anymore." Every time you consciously allow an emotion to move through you instead of suppressing it, you are building new neural pathways. You are teaching your nervous system that expression is not annihilation, that you can be seen and survive the being seen. Jung called this shadow work, integrating the exiled parts of the self. For the silently powerful, the shadow isn't darkness, it's brightness. The parts of you that were too much for the environments that shaped you and were therefore dimmed. Reclaiming them isn't the end of your power, it's its completion. The fourth law of silent power, the one no framework ever tells you, is this. Power that cannot afford to be witnessed is not power. It is armor. And armor, no matter how beautiful, no matter how admired, is still something you're wearing because you're afraid of what happens when you take it off. You are allowed to find out who you are when the war is over, not fixed. Unspoken fractures exist to give language to the things you felt but never been able to name. If this video found you somewhere true, share it with one person who moves through the world in that same particular silence. They'll know why you sent it. And if you're ready to go deeper, subscribe, because this is just the first fracture.